Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So there are a lot of options out there for buying a smartphone. It's a matter of how much do you want to spend, pretty much. That's kind of what it's starting to boil down to, because there are a lot of options out there, and I've got a lot of videos up on different smartphones. But I think the primary target audience for me is people who are looking for phones that are affordable. And I've got two options here. Now I do have lots of other phones that are really affordable. I could bring out other OEMs. I guess you want to make it fair. So I can bring out different models of phones. There's lots of different phones that are affordable. But it appears right now that Motorola is releasing the Moto G5S Plus. And I guess I was kind of talking to some of the guys in the chat, and I was kind of like, why though? Like, you know, why are they doing that? Almost. They've got so many options out there for smartphones. And this is actually one of them. Now, I did a video on this on the Moto E4, and why I think it's a good option, and why I think people should probably pick this phone up. It definitely should be considered. It's pretty much a stock Android phone for 40 bucks. Now, right now, the recording of this video, today is September 26, 2017, is $69 at Best Buy. This is the Verizon version. I did a video on how to unlock it and everything, and it's a good purchase. I mean, if you're looking for good battery life, decent screen, a really solid looking screen if you ask me. I have a matte screen protector on this phone right here, so bear in mind if it looks a little grayish or dull. But Motorola is releasing the G5S Plus, and you know, my question was kind of like, why? They also have the Moto X4 coming, and it's kind of like, why? Those are so close together. You're almost in a competition with yourself. And that's kind of strange, but Motorola is going to release this phone, both of those phones, and they still have other options on the table that cost less. And pretty much, I mean, have you seen that? I did a review of the cameras on this phone. It's actually really impressive. I mean, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description, but search Moto E4 on my channel or E4 Plus, and you will see that the cameras on this phone, these phones are actually really decent. There's options out there for people who want a bigger phone, and I would tell you to lean more towards ZTE. ZTE is a company that produces lots of phones. They're kind of just like Motorola. They're kind of releasing these phones that are so similar, but you know, they're different names. And this is the latest ZTE phone. This is one of their other phones right here. This is the X Max, and this is the Z Max. And as you can see, the trend here is really big phones. You know, ZTE is starting to be known. They're getting known for bringing out big phones and at an affordable cost. Now, if that's too big for you, you do have this little guy right here, which is a 5.5 inch. And I shouldn't say little because it's still fairly nice size phone, but you do get a bigger, smaller screen, but still a pretty nice size package there. But Motorola and ZTE, to me, and you could throw LG in there. You know, depending on, LG doesn't get as much attention as they should, I think, but I think ZTE, if you want a big phone for media consumption, they offer so much at such a little price. It's crazy. And the same thing with Motorola. The difference is Motorola charges a little bit more because, you know, well, this phone costs a little bit less than that phone, but Motorola has options where the phones are a little bit more expensive than this one, probably double and triple the price. But, you know, ZTE produces these ginormous phones at great prices. Now, the downfall to that is that you can find these phones unlocked, and then the ZTE versions, you can't. You have to go through the rigmarole to get them unlocked, which isn't, it's not a bad, and this is if you don't want to use it on the carrier that it's locked to. But, you know, ZTE produces these ginormous screens on these phones and price them so low, it's almost, you can't not buy it. I mean, these are great options. I mean, look at this hardware here. You're getting a dual camera setup on here, which, mind you, is actually really, really good. I unlocked it, sorry. And this is just, and again, this is their latest offering. So look at this build quality, look at the hardware. I mean, you're getting Type-C, headphone jack, and it's sad that the headphone jack is becoming obsolete. But it is what it is. You're getting a headphone jack, you're getting Type-C, you're getting fast charging, you get a rich power button, you get a noise canceling microphone, you get an SD card slot, you get Dolby audio. Even though the speaker's on the back, you still get it. And there's very light branding, just that branding right there. I couldn't tell if this was a Metro PCS phone if you know, if I didn't know. But I like that. You know, I like what they're doing here. You know, and the same thing goes for Motorola. There's tons of options from Motorola because you can get this unlocked, you know, directly from Motorola. So if you get this phone right here, these two phones cost the same at $129 full cost, but the difference is that $129 gets you unlocked right away. And so if you wanted to take the more affordable route like I did, you buy the Verizon version and then you unlock it for like $2. So check that video out if you haven't done so. But these both offer fingerprint readers. This one, you know, doesn't have Type-C or anything, but it does have the headphone jack. The battery life on both of these, and again, I just picked these two phones as just a reference point or a benchmark for the different ranges and types of phones. So this is a great place to start if you're looking for speedy devices with not much bloatware. You're looking in the right place because both of these phones offer that. They both have really good cameras. I would probably say that the Motorola camera is a little bit better. That's one of the weaker points of some of the ZTE devices, the cameras. I've voiced this to ZTE multiple times. Give us some different camera software and take advantage. Now, in the right lighting, you've seen me produce some fantastic photos from the ZTE devices. But I think that's where I think that's probably the weakest point of some of the ZTE phones that I have is just the camera. That software needs an update. And that's pretty much all I can find because the battery life on these, I mean, this has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and this one is a 2800, I believe it is. These are you're going to get killer battery life out of these. And the same thing goes with the K20. Now, the K20 has a 5.3 inch display, but you can see, I think I powered it off, man, or died, no, powered it off. But the K20 here has a bigger screen and a little bit bigger footprint, but you get a 5.3 inch display. But with that, you get some great hardware. You get fantastic hardware with this phone right here. Now, this isn't something that is shocking, I guess, because LG produces in their mid-range game, at least for me. It's all about preference. So I think the hardware is really good on here. And I mean, look at the design of it. You got like this rose gold or accent around here. You get, and again, once again, you get a fingerprint reader. You get a pretty decent camera. You do get that backfiring speaker. No Type-C or anything, but you do get a headphone jack, and you get a nice, sleek design. So I have Nova Launcher on here right now. I was just messing around with Nova Launcher, but I'll change it back to the skin. But you know, LG is another one that offers some really decent pricing on phones, and you know, how do you combat that when it comes to trying to justify telling a person, hey, you know, you should spend this $1,000 on here, or you should do this. Some people are not going to buy into that. They're not going to say, okay, well, okay, I'll go ahead and spend $1,000 on the phone. They're not trying to hear it. It's just not happening. So I'm over here fumbling, changing it back to Nova while I'm trying to talk, or changing it to the stock launcher. But I think that if you want to save money, there are way too many options for you not to save money. So it's really up to you how much you want to spend. And that's always going to be the deciding factor for a lot of people. People don't want to spend a lot of money on phones, and you don't have to at this point. So when I see a lot of complaints about phones costing a lot, most OEMs have an alternative. They have an alternative to their flagships, if you will. Like example, there's an alternative to this phone that costs half the cost. There's an alternative to this phone. There's the Axon 7 Mini. And I guess if you're in the market for the Axon 7, why wouldn't you just go ahead and pick up the Axon 7 Mini if you want to save money? There's way too many options out there for, I'm over here struggling trying to get this thing. There's way too many options out there to not consider a lot. Now, the bad part about this phone right here is that it's so affordable you might as well get it. I mean, but let's take that one out of there, because that's a $400 phone technically. But there is a mini version of that. But that mini version, again, costs $200. And it's still within a good price range of a person who wants a pocket-friendly device. I would tell a person, hey, you know, always do your research first. A lot of people get caught up into I gotta have the latest and I gotta have the greatest. And these phones, like these flagships like this, and I call them flagships because that's pretty much what they are. You're gonna pay for those pricing. You're gonna pay the price on those. So I wouldn't, you know, the argument sometimes that I hear people saying it's a waste of money, da da da. You have the option to go out and buy what you want. You don't have to buy those phones. And that's why I still, when I see comments like, hey, Jay, you know, thanks for still reviewing these budget phones. That's how I started out, and that's what I'll probably continue to do. But just a quick video, guys. There's plenty of options out there for you to choose from if you want to not spend a ton of money on phones. And let's be real here. These phones are getting expensive, man. But with that expensive price, once you pass $400 with me, or $350, it's time to start justifying what I'm paying for. And that's just me. I don't know how you feel, but that is just me. That is what I stand for when it comes to devices. I want to know what I'm spending my money on, and if I can go ahead and get really good cameras out of these phones right here and good battery life, and then I'm struggling to get good battery life out of a phone that I paid $400 for, what's the point? So it's your man Jay Will. Leave a comment down below if you use any of these phones, or you too are in the place in your life where you don't like to spend, you don't upgrade every 2 or 3 years, or you just use your phone until it breaks. These are some good options. And also, for people that don't like insurance on phones or don't want to pay for insurance, I think a lot of times people get insurance on phones because they're phones like this. But I would tell a person, hey, listen, don't get insurance on phones like this, because when they break, if they break or something happens, the deductible, you could just get a new phone, you know? So it's your man Jay Will. How do you feel about phones that cost less than $200? Are they worth it? Should they still exist? Some people feel like they should just be finished with. You know, they should just be done with. But I think those people are thinking inside of a very small bubble, because the tech community is the small community. There's less people spending over $200 for a phone than there is in reverse. So think about that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Leave a comment down below. Once again, it's your man Jay Will. Take care.